If you're new to Cricut, you might be wondering how to apply adhesive vinyl. Now in today's video, you're going to find out what adhesive vinyl actually is, how to choose the right type for your project, how to cut it correctly, weed it, and apply it for long-lasting results. Now you're going to learn all of these skills as we customize these cute little glass beer cans with some fun summer-themed designs. A big thanks to Cricut for sponsoring this video. You can find the supplies that I'll be using in this video on Cricut.com. If you're new here, I'm Kim and welcome to Sweet Red Poppy. If you have a Cricut machine, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I cover every new product. I share the best in-depth step-by-step tutorials. I share free SVG files and I help you to get the very most out of your Cricut machine. I also have my own printed Cricut book, as well as a full Cricut self-paced online course that's called Cricut Made Easy. So, what is adhesive vinyl? First off, vinyl consists of two different parts. Now the top layer is the actual vinyl, which has a sticky adhesive backing. Now this is the material that you will be cutting and applying to create your project. The second layer is actually the paper carrier sheet liner. Now you can kind of think of vinyl as being similar to a sticker. On the top, you have your sticker, and on the back, you have that paper carrier, and it's going to prevent your vinyl from sticking to different things. Now, vinyl can be applied to the majority of flat surfaces, but really it's going to work the very best on non-porous items like walls, glass, and even plastic. Now, if you're just getting started with Cricut, you don't want to confuse vinyl with iron-on. This is a really easy mistake to make, especially when you first start learning all about things Cricut. Iron-on is also referred to as heat transfer vinyl and is a heat-activated vinyl that is primarily used on clothing. Now, it does require an iron or a heat press to activate that adhesive backing. And a really simple way to tell the difference between the two is to look at the back of your vinyl. Heat transfer vinyl has a clear liner on top and the actual vinyl is layered underneath. Adhesive vinyl, on the other hand, removable and permanent, both have a paper carrier sheet with a grid. You'll find that adhesive vinyl comes in a wide variety of types, which can basically be broken down into two main categories. We have removable and permanent. Removable vinyl is ideal for temporary decor. It's not going to leave behind a residue, and it can easily be changed out from season to season. This makes it great for temporary wall decals or even seasonal projects. Permanent vinyl, on the other hand, has a long-lasting adhesive bond, and it's ideal for projects that are going to undergo more wear and tear. So think of projects like mugs, cups, even windshields. In addition to having different strengths, vinyl comes in a wide variety of finishes as well. So chances are, if you're looking for a specific type of vinyl for a project, you're probably going to be able to find it, and you'll have a handful of other options as well. Finally, we have Cricut's new line of Smart Vinyl. So Smart Vinyl is compatible with Cricut's three newest machines. So that's going to be the Maker 3, the Explorer 3, and the Cricut Joy. This one features a thicker backing, which allows you to cut without needing a cutting mat. So you're just going to load your vinyl directly into your machine and go. Now, Smart Vinyl comes in a wide variety of finishes like matte, shimmer, and metallic. So how do you apply vinyl to a surface? Now that we've covered all the different types of vinyl and how to select the right kind for your project, I'm going to show you how to cut, weed, and apply it. Here are the supplies that you'll need for the following tutorial. You'll need a Cricut Maker 3 or a Cricut Explorer 3, and you'll want to make sure that it's loaded with your fine point blade. You'll also need Cricut Smart Vinyl, and you'll want to use a permanent vinyl. You'll also need Cricut transfer tape, a scraper tool, a weeding tool, a glass beer can, and a small washcloth. Now, if you want to follow along with this tutorial with a different type of cutting machine, maybe one of the older Cricut machines, you will need to make sure that you have a standard grip cutting mat to cut out your material. Step 1, create the design in Cricut Design Space. To get started on your project, go ahead and open up Cricut Design Space. Now, this can be accessed from your phone, your tablet, or even your computer. I'm going to be working on Design Space from my laptop computer, so if you're using a tablet or a phone, it might look slightly different, but you should have the same functionality and the steps that I'm taking will still be applicable. Go ahead and click on the plus sign so that you can create a new project. Now in the top right-hand corner of your screen, make sure that your experience is being optimized for your specific machine. This is going to change the options that Design Space gives you based on what your machine's capabilities are. Now, you can find the designs that I'm going to be using for my glass beer cans in Cricut Design Space by searching for Sweet Red Poppy or Kim Coffin. I've also linked to them in the description of this video. Go ahead and resize your design to fit your specific beer can. I'm resizing mine to be just under 9.5 inches wide to get the best fit. Now, once you're ready with your design, go ahead and click Make It in the top right-hand corner, and that's going to bring you to the preview screen. After clicking Continue, the screen is going to prompt you to connect your machine. So make sure that your cutting machine is turned on and that it's either connected via Bluetooth or your USB cable. Next, you're going to be able to select the material that you're planning on using. In this tutorial, I'm going to be using permanent Cricut Smart Vinyl. Go ahead and set your machine material settings according to the vinyl that you're planning on using. Step 2, load the material and cut the design. Now, make sure that your Cricut is loaded with your fine point blade. I like to double check that my blade is clean by pushing down on the plunger and then gently blowing away any debris that may have collected on the tip. Now, when you're using the Maker 3 or the Explorer 3, even the Cricut Joy, and you're using Smart Vinyl, you won't need to use a cutting mat. So you're simply just going to load your vinyl face up into your machine, and then you can go ahead and cut. Now, if you're planning on using a different Cricut machine, take a moment to remove your clear plastic liner from the Cricut mat and apply your vinyl to the mat. Next, insert your mat or your smart material into your machine by sliding it under the white guides and pressing the load arrow button. Now you can go ahead and press your blinking play button. This might look like a C if you're using an older machine, and your Cricut is going to begin its cut. Design Space is going to count from 0 to 100, and that's to let you know how far along you are in your cutting process. Now, once your machine is finished cutting and you're happy with the result, go ahead and press the arrow button, and that's going to release your material. Step 3, weed the design. Once you've unloaded your vinyl design from your machine, you want to weed the design. Now, weeding is the process of removing the excess vinyl from your design. So depending on your design or your application, this could be the negative or the positive space. The hooked weeding tool is super helpful for this process. Now, you could choose to weed your design while it's still on the mat if you're not using a smart material, or you could just remove the vinyl from your machine and weed it on a flat surface. If you are using a smart material like I am, you won't need the mat to cut the design, so the paper carrier sheet for this material is a little bit thicker, which makes it a little bit easier to weed it without that mat behind it. Now, to weed your vinyl, you'll want to begin by trimming down the excess vinyl that's around your design. I'm going to do this with just a pair of scissors. And this is going to help you to save vinyl. This makes sure that we don't waste anything. I always like to store my extra vinyl scraps in a little binder, and then I pull them out whenever I need to use them on smaller projects. So I'm just looking for my cut line, and I'm going to trim it down just about 1/4 of an inch away from my cut lines. Next up, grab your weeding tool. Cricut has a wide variety of different weeding tools that you could use for this project. Now, if you don't have one, you could also use a sewing pin or even a pair of really sharp tweezers. Now, what you want to do is start in the left-hand corner, just outside of your cut lines. You want to press the tip of your weeding tool into your vinyl. You want to make sure that you're hooking just the very top layer of the vinyl, not your carrier sheet. Now you just want to gently pull your vinyl away from that carrier sheet. You can see how it just is going to reveal that cut design underneath until you've pulled off that complete piece. You really want to take your time as you're weeding your design just to be sure that you don't accidentally weed something that really should be staying on the carrier sheet. If you're not sure what you should be removing from the vinyl, go ahead and refer to Design Space. That's going to show you exactly where those cut lines are, and it gives you a good idea of what needs to be removed from your design. Now it's time to clean the surface that you are planning on applying your vinyl to. It's really important that your surface is free of debris or any oils that could compromise your adhesion. Step 4, apply the design with transfer tape. Now, after your design is successfully weeded, transfer tape is needed to apply your vinyl design. So transfer tape is a removable adhesive that allows you to simply transfer your vinyl design to your project's surface. Cricut's transfer tape is a clear film that's printed with a grid, and this makes it really easy to position your design right where you want it. Now, the type of transfer tape that you need really depends on the type of vinyl that you're using. Cricut sells standard grip transfer tape and a strong grip transfer tape. Now, for the majority of your vinyl projects, you will want to use the regular transfer tape. For glitter, shimmer, or true brushed vinyl, you'll want to use the strong grip transfer tape. Now, after you've finished weeding your design, you'll want to place a piece of transfer tape that's large enough to cover your design on top of the design. So I'm just going to cut my transfer tape really quickly. Now, after you've finished weeding your design, you'll want to place a piece of transfer tape that's large enough to cover the entire design over the vinyl. At this point, I can use my scraper tool to burnish my design. And what this does is it transfers my vinyl from the carrier sheet to my transfer tape with just a little bit of pressure. Now you can carefully remove the backing of the vinyl. So I'm just going to peel my transfer tape up away from that carrier sheet. Now, you may find that it's helpful to place a small amount of carrier sheet along the ends of your design. This is just going to keep the entire transfer tape from sticking to the glass right away, and it makes it a little bit easier to get everything into position. So go ahead and position your vinyl on your glass beer can. You want to ensure that it's centered from the top and the bottom and side to side. Now make sure that it goes down nice and flat without any bubbles or wrinkles. And once you're happy with how it looks, you can start moving on to the next side. And now I'm going to burnish my vinyl onto my base, just again using my burnishing tool. Now you can go ahead and remove your transfer tape. You want to make sure that you just peel it away nice and slowly. That way you don't accidentally rip any of your vinyl. If your vinyl does happen to come up with the transfer tape, lay your transfer tape back down and burnish it again, and then you can remove it again. Now, if you have any little bubbles like this, you can gently go back over it with your scraper tool and just push the bubble out towards the edge. Now you have a personalized glass beer can. Now be sure that you allow your vinyl to cure for at least 24 hours before you use it or before you expose it to any moisture. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, that way you don't miss out on any of my Cricut tutorials. If you're new to Cricut, then be sure to check out my blog, Sweet Red Poppy. I've linked it in the description below. It's going to give you a ton of step-by-step tutorials of how to create amazing products with your Cricut machine.